Well, hello, welcome along. This is another session in the Qmulus Sage CRM Virtual Summit for 2021. I'm David Beard. I'm joined by Danny Lewis again. Hi, Danny.
Hello, David.
And this one, I'm going to do most of the heavy lifting up front. I want to talk to you a bit about the inbuilt Sage CRM reporting tool, but I will be handing to Danny towards the end of the session to talk about one of his creations pack add-ons, which is an automated reporting tool. And you'll see how those two things work very nicely hand in hand. So let's make a start. Now, traditionally, reports involve creating and distributing static reports throughout the business, and it's great for reviewing data at the end of the week or the month. But as we know, people are wanting data here, now, head-up displays, that sort of thing, in a format that's easy to consume and easy to understand. So this session is about showing you around the reporting options inside Sage CRM, as well as Danny's creation add-on, so that you can do more with dashboards, reporting generally, and automation, so that you can speed up the way you consume and react to the information that is stored inside your 360-degree view CRM system. So traditionally, reports, as I said, involve creating these static report files. And those of you who are as old as we are, perhaps, will remember how reports used to be printed off and taken around the office to people and things like that. And thank goodness that world's moved on, if only for the trees. So what can Sage CRM do for you? Well, if you want to be able to create your own reports or customizations of reports, then you must be able to create and edit the views. Views are fundamental to the way Sage CRM reporting works. In fact, a lot of Sage CRM. So let me take you through a quick fly through on that so you know how that's strapped together. When you log onto Sage CRM, to access the views or see the views, you need to go into the system admin area. Now the views are defined within each of the entities inside the customization area. So if you want to create, amend a view, or just take a look at one, you need to be looking in these entities. So if it's an opportunity report, you need to be in the opportunities, and so on and so forth. And once you're in a particular entity, you need to look at the Views tab. So as I mentioned, I'm going to use the opportunities entity as an example here. And you'll see that there is a list of all the views that have been defined for the opportunity. The naming of the views gives a very strong indication about the purpose of the view. And you'll notice to see that views have a type. Now, core views cannot be changed. There's no option to change them in the interface, and you shouldn't be touching them underneath the hood either. They are fundamental to the running of the system, and any changes could make your system inoperable. So don't touch them. System views are views used for the main features of Sage CRM. We strongly advise not to alter those either. You're better off creating a copy of it because some of those views, things that run, for example, mail merge or some of the business rules or extensions to Sage, or reporting views, I should say, if you tinker with the existing ones, you may find some of the other reports don't work. So be careful, change them if you need to, but also consider maybe creating a new view, and I'll show you about that in a second. And these user views, the ones that are users available, are typically used when people like Danny and his team will create customizations for new reports or new entities or new screens or things like that. And they can either be made directly within the interface or through a component, and Danny will talk a bit about that as well, and associated then with business rules and extensions that you're trying to change or add to beyond the core. Most of these views typically start with a V, and then usually there's a descriptive name that follows V to do with reporting something or other. Here's a sample of one on screen now. Now, I guess the first reaction you might have is, oh, that looks a bit complicated. And it is, and you do need to understand a little bit about how views are put together, but the important message to take away from this image is using a standard example is a good place to start here. If you copy and paste this into a view creation tool, whatever you're using, you have the base working view in place, which includes all the clever stuff that the system needs about security profiles. And you'll see things, there are numerous field references there like sector and created by and channel ID, which are important core features of the product, and they're looking for or are looked for in the views. So you should start with that base and then work on the extra material. They're essential to make sure that views work the right way. So I've got an example I've pasted into SQL, and I've copied that from the original one called vlist opportunity. And I know, based on what I just said, that this has all the correct columns I need and will work straight away. So let's imagine I've tinkered with it, I've tested with it, it's made the results I want happen. I can paste it back in and create this new view. It fits, in other words, the reporting brief that I'm trying to design against. So I give it a name, and I tick it as a reports box available view because that's important, and save it. And once it's saved, I can use the view in a report. So if I head out to the customization area into the reporting area, here I start to define my report. Now I'm in the general category and I want to create a report that will list all the opportunities, but I can start the definition in the general category and save it away later to the opportunity area. Give it a new report. So it's a new report, create new, give it a name, select a new view, and I'll use the view I just defined, right? This custom list opportunities that you can see there. And then the available columns that that view creates are available to be added into the report on the left-hand side there. So it works now like a normal report, but with extra fields in it because of the new view I've created. I can decide whether this report is a list or a grid view, and I can talk about options like report styles, which allows a different set of styles to be applied to reports. Implementers, people like Danny and his team, will create their own custom styles perhaps and layouts, and using some of the checkboxes here is how that comes together. From here, you select the fields that you want added to the report's content. You then reorder the columns if you need to, how you want them to appear in the report. You can add any search criteria, plus any advanced find options. And this is core Sage CRM report building. And then, of course, you track through the rest of the procedures in the report building process to get the additional presentation information, headers, footers, logos, dates, those sorts of things. You might even want some totals. So you do all that and you can save it away. Oh, there's another thing too I wanted to talk about in reports, because I think this is one thing is underutilized by many people, and it's an area of the product called summary reports. Summary reports, they're a type of product designed to show a quick overview of account information. You may not have even noticed them in your day-to-day usage of CRM. Here, in this company screen for Eurolandia, there's a summary report button. And this is where the summary reports are fired from, not necessarily from the reporting area, which is why I wanted to point it out today. Here's what's one, here is one looking after you've run it. This is what's inside it. And summary reports can be available for each of the system entities. That's company, people, opportunity, and cases. Summary reports, I guess, can be understood as a number of customizable, configurable elements. A summary report is made up of customizable areas. There's header content and report content. So to work on these, you need to go to where we were before in the admin area and into customization. And I'll look at the company area this time because it's the company's summary report I want to look at. And if you go into the tabs area, you'll see we have the sub-reports, and on the right, the edit summary content button. And within that, you can see the summary content is defined as a screen, and you can add and remove fields from that screen, just like any other screen in Sage CRM. So that's how summary reports can be put together. So you can take the idea of the report building with new views, and then you can also not only change core reports, but you can change summary reports as well. Reports and the views underneath them can also be part of what we call dashboarding. And this is another way of reporting information. For many users, the use of dashboards really is drawing upon the same fundamental approach, views, etc. The most obvious difference is the way it's presented to the user in this sort of interactive dashboard or head-up display. Here is an example of a typical My CRM users area, and in particular, this is the interactive dashboard I just touched on. The dashboard contains a set of gadgets, and each displays a different set of data: list gadgets, calendar gadgets, chart gadgets, and so on. And the dashboards can be arranged the way the user wants it. They can be set up for particular teams of users, and it gives a way of people having quick consumption of data on screen. And that saves them having to go and run an individual report. And you can interact with the dashboards, you can click workflow actions on, you can drill into records, things like that. Dashboards are also available not just in My CRM, as we're seeing here, but available in other company and entity contexts. In other words, you could go to the company record, Acme, and there'll be a dashboard within there showing dashboard information that is relevant just to Acme. Users can set their own preferences for dashboards like so, and you can see they can create their own, as I said earlier, or they can create different templates and then fill it up with different sorts of gadgets. The hardest thing about gadgets, and I think reporting generally, is thinking about what you want in them. And so part of the work that Danny would do with you as a customer is to sit down and talk about, well, what are you measuring by team, by company, by day, by week, by product, whatever, and the importance of having that information available to you quickly and easily. And that often then starts the conversation about what sort of reports do you want and what sort of templates and gadgets do you need. Gadgets can be fed by RESTful data, so data from other systems like Sage Accounting, but also other systems as well, perhaps shipping systems or something like that. You can also create your own dashboards, and these can be assigned in different ways to different other users. And here's a shot that shows you the built-in gadget types and where you might find them useful. So that's a very, very, very swift fly-through reporting. Of course, I refer you to help.sagecrm.com for the manuals, which has a much longer discussion on how reporting works, how to build your own reports, how to use the gadgets, how to feed data into it, how to build views, and so on and so on. But let me hand to Danny, because I know he wants to tell you about one of his creations add-on that helps the automation of sending reports.
Thanks, David. So as David has covered, Sage CRM allows you to create reports either completely new based on data views from the system or by cloning existing reports. And these reports can be added to dashboards to group both the report data and report charts onto a single screen to allow you to easily see information from within inside Sage CRM. However, most users are not always generally in CRM all the time, and therefore won't be able to quickly view those dashboards to see how things are going. They may want a report to be emailed to them daily, maybe to let them know how many support cases are open or what deals have or are currently closing that week. And while Sage CRM does not do this out of the box, as part of the ISV community, Qmulus has developed an add-on that we call Scheduled Reports, and this allows Sage CRM reports to be sent to people via email when required. Almost any CRM report can be sent via email, and they can be sent as a CSV file, HTML, XLSX, or PDF, and they can even be filtered using the saved searches against the report when they're being defined. The emails being sent can use CRM email templates, and the reports can be sent to both Sage CRM users and also people that are not actually set up as users. Once you have selected the report, the format, template, and who's going to receive it, the report, you can then configure a report with a schedule to specify when that report is going to be sent. This can be, for example, every X amount of minutes, daily, or monthly, and you can also specify a start and an end date so that reports are only being sent between certain dates. Furthermore, you can also actually stack up the schedules for the report. So you can, for example, be sent an open cases report every day at 9 AM, Monday to Friday, but also at 5 PM on Friday so that you can see how many cases are still open at the end of the week. And by using scheduled reports, really, your information is delivered proactively to users and even out to your customers when needed, keeping everyone up to date with any changes of data or information in the system and any actions that might be required. We find scheduled reports is an easy to install application with inbuilt help. It's easy to configure and is a really low cost addition to Sage CRM and works with all versions from Sage CRM 7.3 and onwards.
Excellent, good summary. Thank you for that. So, and therefore it's part of the creations pack. So that's helps customers do a lot more. And as you rightly point out, when they're not using the system, to still be in touch with what's going on. Absolutely. Terrific. Thanks, Danny, and thanks for coming along for this session. More information is available on help.sagecrm about the core, and of course, talk to Danny at Qmulus for his add-on for the creations of automation. Bye for now.